I definitely want to hear about your 20. Yeah. This is about your 21st birthday, like your actual
21st,
birthday?
Yeah, the 21st birthday.
Did you almost catch a sex offender charge?
No, I did not.
Because you do realize you have to top that story, right?
I don't. I didn't.
You don't have
I
to do
didn't.
shit.
No, I don't have to do shit. So I didn't do that, but I did have a pretty interesting one that I remember fondly because it was fun and it was very interesting. So I was 21, right? I had a roommate, an old roommate. Actually, it wasn't my roommate anymore. He had been my roommate before.
So you guys were friends?
Yeah, we were good acquaintances. We were going to school at the same place, right? This guy was going to school for, I wouldn't name names because I don't really like to do that, but this guy was going to school for advertising, right?
Okay.
So he was really good at advertising himself. So this guy knew everybody. Kind of like you, man. You know everybody. When you go to the bar, you know everybody. Everybody's like, oh, hey,
yeah. I like to know. Yeah, I like to have a big audience.
So this guy knew everybody, right? And he's like, hey, man, we should go to this place in Phoenix called Chili Bombers. It's a bar up there. And he's like, we should go there. I'm like, okay, well, it's my birthday, right? It's my 21st birthday.
Is that where you lived at the time, or you lived?
I lived in Phoenix. I lived in Phoenix for about 6 years. I went to college over there. Yeah, so during that time I was 21. So I go to Chili Bombers with this guy. He's, super. He knows everybody, right? He's super popular. And he goes around. You know what happens when you're 21. He's like, oh, hey guys, check this out. This is my friend. He's 21 today. So yeah, I ended up drinking way too much. Like at that, like on my bachelor party, you remember that, doing the chicken dance. I didn't get that like that, but yeah, it was pretty bad. So anyway, I made it through. I didn't die in the bar.
You made it to the club?
Well, I made it to back home, right?
Okay.
And I'm sitting there. I remember playing this game called Fight Night. It's a boxing game.
I used to love that game.
Yeah, hell yeah. So I got home and I'm playing it. I'm shit faced, man. And then another one of my roommates and his buddy come out and they're like, oh, we're gonna head out. We're gonna go over to our buddy's house or whatever. Go hang out. I'm like, cool, man. You guys have a good night. Whatever. Blah blah.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there playing. We lived in the third floor, by the way. So we had an apartment, third floor. They go out. Not 3-4 minutes later, my buddy's friend comes in and he's like, hey, man, so-and-so just broke his foot or broke his ankle. And I'm like, what? And I'm shit-faced, dude. So I'm like, what? I run outside and sure enough, my friend is sitting there holding his leg and I'm like, oh, shit, he broke his ankle, right? Like, what are we going to do, right? I'm shit-faced. I'm not thinking straight. I'm like, what are we going to do? We need to take him to the hospital or whatever. So we do get a little crew of people. We got this tiny little car that a friend of mine had at the time.
What kind of car was it?
It was
what would you compare it to?
A tiny little Toyota Corolla.
So it's a 4-door or a 2-door?
It's a 4-door.
Like just really small 4-door.
Yeah, and probably like an 88, 89 Toyota Corolla. If you've never seen one of those, it's about the size of the probe that you had outside, the red little probe you had.
It was a Elantra, but it was an old Elantra.
Okay.
A really old one.
Yeah, so about that size of that, right?
Okay.
We packed about 8 people into it. And
Jesus
here we are.
Christ. Including broken ankle guy?
Yeah, he broke it. Including him. So we drive down to the hospital, and I'm sitting there thinking like, oh my God, he broke his ankles. I'm still freaking out, right? Because I'm super drunk. So we get to the hospital. We're all hanging out there. We're waiting in the waiting room in the emergency room. And then eventually someone comes out. And they're just looking around. I guess they didn't call a name. They come around, they're looking at us, and they start looking at me, and they're like, what happened? Like what's wrong? Because I was sitting there in the chair, freaking wasted, right? They're looking at me, and I'm like, no, it's not him. It's that guy over there. Go look at him, because he's got the broken ankle. But they were looking at me like I was like the guy that was going to get admitted to the hospital.
Because you're all hammered?
I was sitting there looking like I was about to pass out.
That's funny, man.
So that's my story. It's not as cool as yours.
Wait, how did he break his ankle?
So he didn't break his ankle. That wasn't the point of the story, though.
I know, but that's what piqued my interest. I was like, wait, is he okay?
Yeah, he twisted he sprained his ankle. He didn't break it. So he basically he did have to wear a boot for a little while.
You didn't all 8 need to be
well, yeah, I guess we all kind of overreacted. But I mean, he was sitting there holding his ankle. I'm thinking, oh, it's broken. I'm shit faced, so it's broken ankle, right?
Well, yeah. Plus, your friends hyped it up. He
he ran back up and he's like, he just broke his ankle, and I'm sitting there shit faced. So I'm like, oh my God, let's go help him.
If I was, this is how bad I used to be. If I was 21 and I was wasted, and they're like, hey, whatever, one of my friends, he broke his ankle. Like, oh, thank God. Like, I'd be happy that nothing worse happened.
Oh yeah.
Like, dude, just
Didn't
call
break their
911.
neck.
Dude, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, they get beat up. Do we have to go find someone? But if they broke their ankle, I'm like, dude,
We
thank
were
God, that
poor
could've been
though.
worse.
We were all
I get
poor
what you're saying.
Palestinians. Didn't have any insurance. None of us did. I didn't have insurance. He
Yeah.
didn't have insurance. I remember him talking to me about the bills afterwards and having to pay a bunch of money because of his sprained ankle, and he had to get one of them boots, and he had crutches for a little while. So anyway, that's my 21st birthday story. I loved it.
Yeah, but definitely didn't top mine, but it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I thought you were going somewhere with your buddy's ankle, man. I thought that was going to be the
Well,
highlight.
I told you it wasn't gonna be that, and I said
You're
I
just
didn't
really
have to
hyped
top
for that,
shit,
man.
so I didn't have to top shit. So
Just kidding.
whatever, man.
No,
Yeah.
man.
So
I think, man, have you ever been to the hospital, like, admitted?
well, I work at the hospital, so
I
I've
know
been at the
that.
hospital a lot.
Have you been admitted? Was my
No, I've never
specific-
been admitted.
You never
Actually, I have been admitted to the hospital in Mexico. It wasn't an admission though, so I haven't been admitted. But I was, so I was I'll tell you the background. I was in an accident when I was 16 years old. I was on the back of a pickup truck. My good buddy from Mexico was learning how to drive stick shift, right? So we're in Mexico. There's a lot of dirt roads out there. We go out and he's driving on this really sandy kind of rocky road, right? And he's pushing it because he's learning how to drive. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's doing about 60 on a dirt road, and we're just cruising in a
Sounds like
sandy
he
road.
knows how to drive to me. If you get at 60, you officially know how to drive.
Well, that was a bunch of boys
That
in
means you
a
went through
truck,
these
bro.
5 gears, man.
Come on, yeah. Well, he just kept going up. Maybe he didn't know how to go down. Oh, can you go down? How do you do it? You
It's
can't
like
go from 5 to
hitting
1.
the hill on your bike, but you don't know. No one taught you how to brake yet.
Yeah, so you just go faster, right, and see what happens. So anyway, we're going down the road really fast, and the truck. I was in the back of the truck, and I'm sitting in the
Like
bed.
literally
of the
the
truck.
bed. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I'm sitting on the side of the truck, doing 60 like
That's
an
not
idiot
smart.
at 16. And so the truck starts fishtailing, obviously, sandy road. I fly out. I flew at the back of a truck. Man, I remember to this day, like the feeling of it. I was falling back, and I remember that the sky was like super blue, like not a cloud in the sky. And I remember thinking like, oh my God, like I just fell out. Like, what the hell?
Did you break anything?
Well, I smacked my head. I got a lot of scars. I didn't break anything, but that's the segue into that. So my brother took me to the hospital. It's a small clinic, really, what they have over there. And they were like, "Oh my God, you have a fracture in your cranium, right? So you're gonna have to go to the big hospital, which is in a whole nother town, like an hour and a half away."
Jesus Christ.
So I had to drive. My brother drove me with his girlfriend at the time. I'm in the back holding my head with a towel, driving for about an hour and a half.
Were you bleeding from your head?
Yeah, it was. Well, they took me to the clinic for a little bit, so they patched me up a little bit. But I'm holding a towel to my head. I'm like open still, and driving down the street. They did some X-rays on me. The doctor actually came in there with his finger, and he's just digging in there.
Came in there with his finger?
Yeah, he came in and with just
He
one
brought his finger with him?
he brought it like this, and he was.
That's a dope
digging in
doctor.
there.
Most doctors forget their fingers, man.
Yeah,
This guy brought his?
Yeah, he brought 10 actually.
brought
I think
10.
he had all 10,
Damn.
maybe 9, but yeah.
Mexico
So he
does it
came in
big.
there with jerk. So he came in there.
Came in with his finger.
and he started digging around, and he was like, "Oh, I don't think it's fractured, right? I don't feel any particles."
That was his fracture test?
Yeah, that was his fracture test.
I'm not a doctor or anything. That can't be legit tested.
Hey man, that's the way it happened. I'm just telling you how it happened.
If I got shot and the doctor like stuck his head in
I
there
don't
and started
feel any
feeling around
bullet.
and he's like, doesn't seem to have hit your heart. I'd be like, dude, like, give me a new doctor, dude. If I didn't already die from that
I
wound.
was Mexico, okay, man.
I'm pretty
I don't know about his credentials. I
That's so
didn't ask
funny.
him.
He stuck his fingers in your wound and
Yeah.
felt to see if it was cracked.
He's like, is it cracked? But eventually they did do an X-ray in my head, and I didn't have a crack, thankfully. But my mom was freaking
Turns
out
out that
there. I
doctor was
was
pretty
there.
smart then.
Yeah.
He was right. Damn,
Well-
we're assholes, man. We shouldn't have made fun of him. I got a spot on.
Sorry, doctor, whoever you
Yeah.
were, man. You saved
What
my
if he
life.
was there?
probably.
He's like, fucking told you, man.
I told you it wasn't a
Nobody listens to
fracture.
me. Nobody listens to Dr. Crazy Head.
Yeah, but I haven't been admitted to the hospital. I've been in accidents before, but I've never been admitted. Thankfully, because I don't think it'll be a fun experience for anybody. Really, I mean, I
Yeah.
don't think anybody wants to go to the